3 in the morning, but I want to go club it.
I'm jealous that he got to hang out with Neo.
Yeah. I like the part where Donnie says that Akon stopped by the house. How cool
Everybody in the club right
It's
now.
B100, Red Hot Brian Scott, and Tony Tone Show. If you're listening online, Holland, Germany, this is amazing. Oklahoma City, Britain, the UK.
Got people in Oregon, down in Texas. This is unreal.
The new kids phenomena that never died.
We got to talk to you about New Edition, who I've read that you guys said inspired you, but then y'all in New Edition kind of paved the way for like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
They were all we had, New Edition was really the only example we ever had. It's like I don't really take nothing away from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. They are who they are, and they did what they did. They did some amazing things themselves. But when we were coming up, we didn't have, as like 5 white kids, there was never anyone who did it before us. We didn't have anyone to look to as an example other than New Edition. So in those moments of like doubt, when it's like, man, I mean, is this going to work? Is anybody ever going to really go for this? And we couldn't get a record deal and nobody would play our record when we did. It was like, there was no precedent for us. So, it's other than New Edition and, so it's the one thing that was probably different for like NSYNC and those guys is that, they'd seen a blueprint, and not only of what to do right with us, but what not to do. They said, well, New Kids kind of screwed up with the too much merchandise. Maybe we'll pull back and not do that as much as them and blah, blah, blah. But, so for us, I mean, the only thing we had was New Edition and sort of a dream that we could do something that no one had ever done before.
And you did it, and you did it twice with like a 14-year separation, too.
It's got to be especially cool for you, Donnie, because you get to go from the stage back to the silver screen and then back to the stage and vice versa.
With some primo acting gigs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a real high. I mean, it's like, it's amazing, too, is like, I'm out with the guys doing press and getting ready for the tour, and then, I take a day off and go to the premiere of Righteous Kill with De Niro and Pacino and 50 and hanging out with them and coming back to the group and, to see sort of the appreciation that people have, because there's a lot of people who've never seen me as a musician. A lot of people I work with in my acting career, agents and friends and actors, and who are now coming to the shows and seeing me do this, and they're kind of like stunned, that I actually am pretty good at what I do, and it's kind of fun. There's definitely moments where I say, what am I going to do when I look out and see this person in the crowd who only knows me as an actor or only knows me as a friend and has never seen me do this, like, what's that reaction going to be like? And it's been pretty fun, on both sides.
Let's jump back 14 years ago for a second. New Kids on the Block decides to kind of disband. And then I remember a VH1 special about 2 years ago. They were trying to get you back together. Did you all stay in touch during that time? Because VH1, it seemed like they didn't know where everybody was.
Yeah, and like who was friends with who.
Yeah.
Some of us didn't even speak. I don't think I spoke to John Knight for 13 years.
13 years is a long time. Hold on for a sec. It won't take 13 years to take a break, but we'll come back. We'll talk to you some more. And I want to find out what you did during that time.
And how you guys all reconnected, and especially what's it like today being back together.
B100 gets you up to date.
Australia, right?
Oh, my God. This is unbelievable.
UK.
I can't even keep up. Australia, the UK, the Netherlands, Oregon, Texas. This is crazy. This is worldwide right now.
Thanks to all the emails, a ton of MySpace messages, and of course, a ton of Quad Cityans, people standing by to ask questions, and I don't know how many more we're going to do, but keep them coming. And nobody can keep up with the email responses at this point. Cold today, warm in your heart if you love New Kids on the Block.
Oh.
You are a fan, and you love those guys. Donnie Wahlberg.
Step by step, ooh, baby.
I got to tell you, Donnie, I'm a little bit disappointed we can't ask tour questions. A lot of hits.
Some of these emails are just amazing.
Those would be hits spanning 20 years, right?
Lady in St. Louis, her son met Donnie. Donnie gave her kid a hat. He wears the hat to school every day.
Now, do you remember this? Because everybody wants to know. Ask Donnie about this. Donnie Wahlberg, New Kids on the Block. 13 years since you talked to Jonathan Knight until you guys got back together on the tour.
That's a crazy long time.
Yeah, it's a long time, and there's the thing that even if there isn't friendship there at all times, there's a mutual respect and a mutual understanding. It's like we were in the eye of a storm together for a long time, and when all that craziness was going on, there was only the five of us. We looked at each other's eyes, and we could always understand what the other guy was going through, and sometimes in life, if Jordan's in a weird spot, there's nobody that he has other than the other four of us who can look at him and sort of know where his head is at. And, that's a special thing. But, coming back together has been pretty incredible, too. It's like, I think time was really good, like to me and John Knight, for example. I mean, we're closer now than we ever were. We have more respect for each other than we ever did, and it's one of the sort of little surprising side notes to this whole thing is like how good of a friends him and I have become, and it's it adds a more of a special feeling to this whole thing.
When we saw you in Chicago, it just looked like everyone was close, that all you guys were loving every minute of it.
And you guys have had some catching up to do since it has been 14 years, and I don't want to say y'all are getting a little old, but how different has it been today being on stage, dancing, singing, performing than it was back in the day?
Groupies?
The fan reaction is just I loved it back then, and I love it now. I mean, I think there's just a greater appreciation now than there was back then. And it's not to say that we didn't appreciate it back then, because we really did. But when you're young, it's different. It's hard to really, truly understand, everything. But now, I mean, every little thing is just so sort of important now, so I look out at all the tour buses lined up in the arena, and I just feel much more gratitude now. I understand that those buses are filled with people who have jobs now because we're doing this, and because the fans have come back. It's like we're feeding families doing this. We're pulling into each arena. I generally walk out into the arena, into all the empty seats, and just kind of look around and take a moment and just really sort of say thank you. It's amazing to do this once in life, but to do it again is just it's almost too incredible. And so all the fans are thanking us for coming back again, and I never meet a fan without thanking them for coming back again, because without them, there's no us. That's just the way it is. So I'm just very appreciative this time around.
Some stiff competition right now as far as the music industry. Kanye West, Hot, Neo, T-Pain.
Not to mention Lil Wayne, flooding the market, and then you guys released The Block in early 2008, and we got to say by far one of our favorite CDs of the year.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, that's really one of the best things that I could hear, because it was really that important to try to make a good album and to try to make this whole reunion, as much as it's a special experience for the fans and for us, we really had to do it with integrity. We really had to put our heart into the music and our energy and our heart into the tour to make it something special. And I think seeing the fans, listening to the CD and hearing people like you tell us that it's really good means so much to us, and seeing the fans leave the concerts so satisfied, and saying you guys didn't just cut corners, you didn't take shortcuts, you didn't just make it about nostalgia, you made it something new and exciting for us, and we thank you for that. I mean, that is the most rewarding thing that we could ever hear, is that people are really appreciating all the hard work we put into it.
I think that'll continue too, especially with radio play. I hope that continues as well.
All the hard work you guys put in 14 years later, it's paying off. Yeah. Thank you very much, Donnie Wahlberg, for taking time to call us while you're on the bus.
Oh, thank you so much, man. It's thank you for taking the call. A lot of people wouldn't have took this call 10 years ago, so I appreciate it.
Donnie Wahlberg, New Kids on the Block. Thank you very much. You were a pleasure to talk to.
Donnie, don't be a stranger. You got our number, all right?